My name is Ronny Marty. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. How does everything start? Everything started in 2009 back in the Dominican Republic when I heard from friends that they were a US company coming to recruit people to work in the US. They told me it's a company that is recruiting people to work at hotels. So as I had experience working at hotels. So I thought it could be a great opportunity for me to make some money and help my family. So I went for the interview, which it was a process of two interviews. During that process, I was told by the recruiter that there were a lot of job opportunities in the US. So there was a big demand and it's good pay with benefits. So something that really attracted me. So when I passed the interview process, I was told that I had to pay for the recruiting fee, which was around $3,800, and that I had to also pay for the travel expenses. I didn't have the money for the recruiting fee, that I had to go and get that from friends and family. And for the travel expenses, the recruiter said that do not worry about that. We can work it out and you can actually pay us later. We're going to pay that upfront and you pay us later. So don't worry about that. And I will tell you, it was that bandage, something that I didn't know what was it. And I will explain you later during this interview. So when the interview process, they were also telling me that I would need a work visa, which is for 9 months, and in order for me to work in the US. So when I got everything and the time came that I was at the airport and I received my passport from the recruiter, the passport states that the visa is only for 3 months. And I asked the recruiter, why is that when I was promised that the visa is for 9 months? So he told me that I don't have to worry about that because they're going to be extended automatically. Okay. So when me and the other group, we landed to Kansas City where we were supposed to work at hotels. When we get there were people waiting for us and they took us to our first destination where we were supposed to spend our first night. So when we got there, one of the managers talked to us and said that there are no jobs in Kansas City. The jobs they have is in Huntsville, Alabama. And I complained about that. And I said, why, if you knew that you didn't have hotel jobs in Kansas City, you still told us and we came here? And he said, because he got really mad at us and things became really ugly. And he said, you take it or you leave it. At that moment, at that point, there was no other option than take it, because in order for us to go back to our country without any money and with the debt that we already have on top of it, there was not an option just to leave it. So we took it. And they transport us from Kansas City to Huntsville, Alabama the next night. That transportation cost us $50 each. And we were transferred in minivans that are built for 8 people. We were 12 people plus our luggage. It was a crappy trip, but we didn't have any other options. So as we didn't have money to pay for the $50, the recruiter said, kindly, do not worry about that. We're just going to add it to your bill. And that is that bandage. And I will going to explain to you later something that we didn't know. So when the time came and we arrived to Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, so we get into apartments, 1-bedroom apartment, 4 and 5 people. So we're supposed to pay $300 each per month in 1-bedroom apartment, 4 and 5 people. It was okay to me. That was my first experience, so I didn't know. And I will explain to you about that too, because it just get added into my bill on the debt bandage. So we got the job, DVD company, where we were working 12 hours a day. And what we were doing there is actually packing CDs, stowing. We were moving boxes. That was the job that we were doing there. So on our first paycheck, I noticed that I just made $40. So I asked my recruiter, why is that? When I checked my pay stub, all the deductions were there. So they, on my paycheck was staying deduction for the transportation from Kansas City to Huntsville, Alabama. They are charging me a portion of the visa extension when they told me that visa extension is going to be renewed automatically, that I don't have to do anything. So that was coming on my pay stub, deducting from my paycheck. The rent, part of the portion of the rent that we had to pay monthly. So they were also charging for transportation from our apartment to the job. So something that, I was not aware that I'm going to be charged so much money. So when I get my paycheck back, I'm not able to even send money to my family or to survive here. So I mentioned that they were charging $300 per individual in the one-bedroom apartment where we were 4 and 5 individuals. So I realized later on that the recruiter is paying only $400 a month. So if you do the math, you will find out that if you have 4 people in one-bedroom apartment, each of us pay $300. It's $1,200 a month. And he's paying only $400. So he's making, just out of our rent, $800 just in one-bedroom apartment. Imagine. So our debt bondage keep increasing. And let me explain it. Debt bondage is a method used for recruiters, for employers, where they are very kind to put money up front, give it to you. They offer you the money to pay for things for you, for services, and later you have to repay them. But what they don't tell you is when you gotta repay them, it's a high interest rates that they charge you. It's something unclear. So you start paying money in a high interest rate. So you're never gonna really finish paying them with the little money that you're making. In a lot of cases, you don't make money, or you make little money, or you don't make money. So that's how they actually trapped you. There are the advantage that actually pass from one generation to another generation, and this is because of there's no knowledge. There's no people. They don't know about it. You just get trapped on that. And you are not, like in our situation, we were not allowed to work for any other company. So how are we going to make the money and repay them if we're not allowed to work in another company? And in order for us to pay them, how many hours a day we have to work? So impossible. So the time came in, and one time we were at our apartment, and the landlord came and asked us to pay for the rent. I said, that's impossible because we've been paid for the rent every month. And I showed her our pay stub and all the deduction, including the rent. So she called the recruiter, that in this case was our trafficker. She called him and claimed to pay for the rent. He said he is not going to pay for the rent. So the landlord came back to me and said, there is something fishy here. There is something wrong. There's something that is not right. So would you like to speak to the news? So she put me in contact with the Huntsville newspaper. And she asked me if I agreed to speak to them and tell them the situation what we're going through. Because as he was not paying the rent, and we were not making money. So we were at that time we were hungry and no money even to pay the rent. But the landlord and the manager, they were so kind and understanding the situation that they actually provide us food for us to eat. So I started speaking to the news. So I spoke to the reporter from the Huntsville newspaper and explained our situation. So the recruiter heard what I was talking to the press, and he called me and said, "You better stop talking to the news, or you will see what could happen to your family back in the Dominican Republic. We know where you live there, so because they have all our information. When you apply for a job with them, they get all your information, where your family live, your previous job, your friends, and address and everything." So I was really worried about what could happen to my family. I didn't know what those people were capable to do. So he started threatening me with those things. I asked him about the rent. If we've been paying you, why don't you pay the rent? So he get really ugly on me, and he kept saying like, you better stop talking to the news. That's what I want to tell you. And I say, you know what? You also been charging us for the visa fee extension, that we're paying for extension, something that we were not supposed to pay, and we still don't have the visa. At that point, he said, no, your visa was denied. I said, if the visa was denied, why don't you give us the money back? And he said that he would give us the money back, but we had to continue working. So that's what we did. We continue working until the time came that we could escape, and we went from Huntsville, Alabama. We actually went to New Jersey, and it's another story because we were also scammed by another company. And from New Jersey, we went to Biloxi, Mississippi. In Biloxi, Mississippi, we met Mary from a Catholic church place. She spoke Spanish and she helped us out. We told her our story, and she said that we might be a victim of human trafficking. At that point, I didn't know what human trafficking was. So she asked me if I want to talk to law enforcement. And I say, you know what? At this point, I don't care. I don't have anything to lose. Because I just heard from people like, if you go to law enforcement, what they do, they take your information, and after they just kick you out. That's it. And I told her, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. And I was so concerned and saw all the fears that we were experiencing. So when I spoke to her, she put me in contact, and she put all of us in contact with ICE. And one agent from ICE, her name is Julie Grace. She came and we talked to her, and she was very professional, very kind. I didn't trust anybody at that point. At that point, regardless who was that person, I couldn't trust anyone because of what happened with the recruiter. So, but Julie Grace was so professional. She treated us in a way that we felt so peaceful and calm, and we felt like we can trust her. So there was an interview process with her, and the Attorney General from Kansas that was coming to Biloxi, Mississippi. So Julie put us in contact and with resources where we could get housing, mental health, that we also get food. So that was great. I was so grateful to Julie Grace because she actually knew how to treat survivor, and it's something that was not happening frequently. But she was so professional, and she was so well trained how to deal with people with trauma, because by that time I was having nightmares where every night, and I'm telling you, almost every night, I was just dreaming about the trafficker chasing me, coming back after me. I was having nightmares from the trafficker was in agreement with the people that were helping me to actually go and hunt me. That's the way that I was having those nightmares. So because you don't trust people when you're in that situation, when you're with that trauma, you don't really trust anyone. But Julie Grace was amazing. With the time she worked out our work permit, she applied for a work permit because our visa was expired already. So in order to be legal in this country and work legally, she applied for that, and we get our work permit for a year. After that, Julie and also the Attorney General, after the case was closed, they helped us to apply for they gave us all the documentation that we needed to apply for the T visa. T visa is a visa that is one of the rights that survivors of human trafficking have. So a T visa that was granted for 4 years, at the term of 3 years, you need to apply for your green card, which I did it. I did it before because the case was closed and I was able to reunite with my family. That was something great that happened to me. My case is unique because in 2014, I had the privilege to go to the White House and get together with a lot of survivors of human trafficking, and their stories were totally different from my story. They didn't get the resources that they were supposed to get. And what might help me in that situation, I think more people should know about what's going on, what is human trafficking. There should be more awareness out there, and that's what I'm raising my voice all the time, to people understand what is human trafficking, that is real, that is happening. How can you protect your kids, you young people? Anyone can be a victim. Regardless, you have a high degree, you have a high education, you can be a victim of human trafficking. You don't know with what method the trafficker will actually trap you. The trafficker will threat you. So we can say, oh no, I'm not going to fall into that. I'm not going to be a victim. You don't know. So now that you know the signs of human trafficking and that you actually can get help, it's what we want. We want to bring the awareness to people out there to protect their kids, to protect the youth, and any adult. Anything that you heard that is so good it would be so good to be true, please look for reference. Just do a research first before going into a company that is also one that is offering certain things that are so good to be true. Something that could help me, might be able to help me during that time, if someone was knowledgeable about what was going on. In that case, I think I received help from my landlord because she knew there was something fishy happening. And she actually put me in contact with the news. And that was my first way out, because I was able to speak to the news for someone who actually knew what was going on. I mean, she didn't totally knew what was going on, but she thought something was not right. And that's when everything started. If you have people around you, your neighbors, and they know about human trafficking, they know the signals, and they can help, they can make the first call and help you. Because if you can help you yourself, but someone sees you and they can help you, and call the first responder so you can get the help that you need. But nothing that looks so good, would be true. So we need to do the research before accepting anything, and especially the runaway youth. I know there's a lot of problems in families, and we're gonna find people out there that are gonna offer us to take care of us, of course, and they will offer things. But remember, nothing in this life is for free. So it's my advice that anything that looks so good, just do the research and just don't accept it until you know from a true sources that where you're going is a safe place. I want to keep doing that. And I really want to keep working toward helping other victims and bringing awareness to the community and do all the outreach that we can. But we can if we get together, if we are all alert, if we all know what to do, we can stop that. And that would be all together. If you can help one person, you help the world of that person. So I invite you to join the forces and join the movement and be alert. And if you see something, say something. There is always a way to get out. And to my fellow survivors, I always say there's hope. There's always hope. There are a lot of people out there working. A lot of people, good people working. There are more good people than bad people. So don't lose your faith. God is good. God bless you.